Okay, it's time to do the rest of these. So we are just going to do basically the same thing we did before. We have our calculator company. We are selling these things at $18 a piece. And our fixed costs are $120,000. And our variable cost is $10 per calculator. And so here's the first question. We want to calculate the break-even point in the number of calculators. So we're going to use this little formula right here. So our break-even is going to be the total fixed cost of $120,000 over the contribution margin, which is 18 minus 10, so that's 8. So that gives us, if we calculate that out, it's 15,000 units. Okay, so that's pretty easy. How much do we need to sell in order to return a profit of 70,000? So units for 70,000. Is going to be this formula here. So that's 120,000 plus 70,000 over $8 contribution margin each. So that's equal to 23,750 units. And let's see. The break-even, if we increase our total fixed cost to 175, so again, let's see, I'm going to erase some of this stuff here, I guess. So if our fixed costs are now 175, so our break-even units is going to be 175 over 8, 175,000 over 8. So our number of units that we need to sell now is going to be 21,875. And again, to earn the $70,000 profit, it's going to be 175,000 plus 70,000 over 8, which gives us 30,625 if we solve that out. And so then what profit will we have if we sell 30,000 calculators? And so the way that we solve that is to use our profit equation. So it's 30,000 times, I'm going to just go ahead and use the contribution margin because that's the profit that we get per unit that we sell. So it's 30,000 times 8 minus 175,000. So that gives us $65,000 in profit. And we can do a little sort of reality check. We see that 30,000 is close to this number here that gets us to 70,000. So yep, that all makes sense. So that, my friends, quickie, is how you do number 3. Now, I'm going to pause this for a minute and do number 4. Okay, number 4 is more of the same. The only difference is that you start with your contribution margin income statement, which kind of tells you what you need to know in order to do these calculations, but it's sort of imputed. So we have 2,000 units being sold at $35 a unit. That gives us $70,000 in revenue, and then our variable costs are $20,000, and that means that our variable cost per unit has to be $10. So our contribution margin is 50. Our fixed costs are 30, and our profit is going to be 20,000 then. Okay, so now right? We think we want to, because our contribution is so generous, we think we want to go ahead and lower our price. So we're going to lower the price of the muffler to $30. And if we increase our advertising, we should be able to sell a lot more mufflers. Our variable cost per muffler is going to be unchanged. So let's figure out, first of all, what profit we will have under these new circumstances, right? So we're going to write up the same exact function as you see there. So we have revenues of $30,000 times 2,800. I'm sorry, $30 per muffler times 2,800 mufflers sold is going to be $84,000. Our variable costs are going to be the same. So those are going to be 28,000. Right, 10 times 2,800. And so that gives us a contribution of $56,000. And then our fixed costs are going to be $33,400, right? Because our fixed cost is going to go up by $3,400. So that means that our profit is going to be $22,600, which is more than the $20,000 that we earned last year. So this makes a lot of sense. So that's the answer to C. Does it make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. They're going to earn more money under these new circumstances. Now the question is, how much do we need to sell to earn the $20,000? And I am going to let you guys in on a dirty little secret. I've been doing these in Excel. Now I have a whole video that shows you how to do these in Excel. I'm going to drag that thing on over here. I guess I'll make the window a little bigger so you can see better. Okay. So here's my question, right? I'm going to zero that out. So we want to know how much we want to sell in order to earn $20,000. Now I show you, I have a whole video on this in my video set for this unit. What you do, so here's your home sort of menu, I guess, in Excel. What you do is you go over to the Data tab, and you look over here and you look for What If Analysis. If you pull down that menu, you find something called Goal Seek. Right, so we want to know, we want to set this cell here equal to $20,000. Now before I go ahead and use that menu, I want to show you what's in this cell. Okay, this cell is the profit calculation. So we've been, over and over again saying it's price times units minus variable cost times units minus fixed cost. Well, this is that formula. It's price, right, B19 times the units, which is in B22, minus variable cost times the units. Variable cost is in cell B20 minus B22, minus the fixed cost. Right, so that's this calculation here. So if I put 1 in here, right, it's going to calculate based on 1 unit being sold. And I want to know how much we want to sell in order to have this profit calculation equal to 20,000. So I go, like I said, into this What If Analysis menu. I want to set that equal to 20,000 by changing the number of units that I'm selling. By changing what's in cell B22, the number of units. If I hit OK, what's going to happen, you might see it. Excel just thinks for a second, for a millisecond, and then it'll give me an answer. The answer is 2,670. Okay, so this makes sense, right? Because we figured that if we sold 2,800, we'd have a profit of 22,000. So the fact that to get to $4,000 even, we're selling 2,670 units. That makes sense. It's a little bit less than 2,800, right? So that's how you can do these things in Excel and never have to do algebra again. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, I'm going to pause this and then we'll hit Lady Macbeth. Okay, so here we have Lady Macbeth. Now, the first A through C are really simple. They're the same thing, so I'm going to show you in Excel again, just to kind of reinforce the idea that you can use Excel, or you can do it by hand, either way, right? But we have $15 for a price for these out damn spots, and $8 per bottle in variable cost. And then our fixed costs are $30,600. We don't know what our units are. We're going to solve for this, and our profit equation is set up as price times the units minus variable cost times the units minus the fixed cost, right? So we want to know, okay, we want to get this profit equal to 0, and that'll give us our break-even number. So we go to the Data tab, What If Analysis Goal Seek. We're going to set our profit equal to 0 by changing the units that we sell. Okay, so the answer to the first one is 4,371. So we need to sell 4,371 units in order to break even. Okay. Now the next, how much would your answer change if we lowered the selling price by $2 or if we raised the selling price by $2? So here we have the exact same setup, except this one has a price of 13, this one has a price of 17. So we'll go ahead and use our goal seek again. So goal seek, we want to set that to 0 again by changing the number of units. All right, so now we're going to have to sell 6,120 units at a lower price in order to break even. And here, if we raise the price, we're going to set that equal to 0 by changing the number of units that we sell. So we only have to sell 3,400 units to break even. Now, you can do the same thing in Excel, right, with the target profit. So remember, our target profit formula, units for a target profit, was here, right? Total fixed cost plus total target income over contribution margin, right? But you can, again, your profit equation is always the same. It's always price times units minus variable cost times units minus fixed cost, right? So we can go ahead and set this, right? So again, we use the what if analysis, the goal seek, and now our target profit was $5,800. So I'm going to set that to $5,800 by changing the numbers of units, and this will solve for the number of units it takes to get to that target profit. And the answer is 5,200. Okay, and so if you wanted to go ahead and you know, assure yourself that Excel knows how to do algebra, you could go ahead and do it. Okay, so that's how you use Excel to solve these things out. It makes your life a lot easier. You have to get comfortable with Excel first, but you don't have to do algebra anymore. So it's a, you know, it's a trade-off. Now I'm going to get Excel out of here, and I'm just going to show you how to set up the next one. Okay, because this is the one that I'm sure blows people's mind. Okay, cross that out. Now, suppose that for every $1 the selling price per bottle decreases below $15, we expect to increase sales volume by 350. And if we could sell 5,200 bottles before at $15 a bottle, can we earn $5,800 in profit by lowering the selling price? Okay, so the question is, right, how are we going to do this? Right, so our sales volume at $13 per bottle is going to be 5,200, which is what we were selling at $15 a bottle, plus 2 times 350, right? 2 times 350 is 700. So our total sales volume now is going to be 5,900, right? Okay, so we're going to be selling $5,900. So our question is, can we earn $5,800 in profit by lowering the selling price per bottle by $2 to $13? Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out what is our profit. At 5,900 units times $13 per bottle. Okay, so we figure out our profit as revenues, which is going to be 5,900 times 13. And then our variable cost is going to be 5,900 times 8. And our fixed cost remains $30,600. And so if you calculate this all out, you wind up with a profit of negative $1,100. Should be losing money. So that is a dog of an idea, right? You're not going to make up in volume what you lose by your margin. Okay, so when next time a marketing person comes and tries to get you to lower the price, this is why we have you do these calculations. Okay, so now I'm going to bring over my Excel file and show you how to set up the answer to the last one, right? So for every $1 we increase, we predict sales volume will decrease by 200 bottles. So we've got a price of 17. Our variable cost remains at 8. Our fixed cost remains at 30,600. And the units that we're going to sell now are going to be 5,200 minus 200 times 2, so 4,800. Okay. So we're going to, at 4,800 units then, at this higher price, we'll actually make a lot more money. This is how luxury goods make their money. They have outrageously high prices, variable costs are very low, and they don't have to sell very much to make a profit. So that, my friend, is how you do all of the homework. You can do it. I know you can. And trust me, you will see these kinds of things in your management career. Okie dokie.